So without further ado, give your warmest welcome for the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Ken Cuccinelli.
Good afternoon. It's good to be with a bunch of folks that love the Constitution.
Give them hell, Ken!
It's too bad the weather didn't cooperate. I'm sorry to be joining you so late, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you all are here. I so appreciate your willingness to come out in defense of first principles. Before anything else in this country, that's what it's built on, and we need to get back to them. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah!
Well, I've been in the Attorney General's office a couple of months now. It's been sort of boring. Okay, not so boring. There are people in my office sort of pining for boredom, but we got off to a pretty quick start, and last year when we were campaigning, I talked very clearly about the importance of reining in the federal government, that it was going beyond its appropriate boundaries and beyond its authority, spending our children's money and continuing a bipartisan tradition in that respect. But I didn't realize we'd have the opportunity so quickly. A month after, literally to the day, a month after being sworn in, we had the EPA lawsuit over the greenhouse gases finding in December, where the EPA used their political science instead of actual science to tell you that exhaling is bad for you. And we question that science, and in fact, since they closed the public comment period, one thing after another has come out from actual scientists, including some of their own, undercutting their position. But they don't care about that. That doesn't matter to them. They're pressing ahead anyway. Lisa Jackson is the administrator of the EPA. That's what they call the person who runs the EPA, the administrator. When she was in Copenhagen in December, she said words to the effect that we're out to transform the American economy, and I have the 13,000 people or 15,000 people at the EPA who are ready to help me do it. No mention of the environment, just transforming the American economy. And when you see that greenhouse gas finding, don't have any question about what that's about. It's about transforming the American economy and taking control of the smallest businesses you can imagine, so that to open your doors, you've got to go get permission from the EPA. That is an attack on liberty. That is an attack on liberty, and at least without a fight, we're not going to let it stand. And that was month one. That was the first month, and that continues to roll on. They issued what's called a rule under that endangerment finding at the end of March. And so in the next week or so, we will go with several other states and expand the scope of our suit with the EPA to undo that rule. And each thing they do along the way under this endangerment finding, to roll back the power of the federal government. There's three main ways the federal government exercises power. They tax you, they spend money, and they regulate. And the taxes are, that one's pretty obvious. Spending, we're learning about the problems with growing government and what that means for your liberty. You know, Ronald Reagan used to talk about growing the economic pie. And you could grow the pie by lowering taxes and increasing economic activity and opportunity for all Americans. But the liberty pie is one size, it never changes, and there are only two slices: government power and citizen liberty. And every step the government takes, including increasing its own spending, even when they don't tax you more, that's called borrowing. For the rest of us, it's illegal. But for the federal government, no problem. Even when they increase spending, they're reducing your liberty by increasing government power, because they're crowding out freedom and they're crowding out citizen liberty with more and more government. That's what happens when government grows. And when we talk about something like that EPA endangerment finding, that's their exercise of regulatory power without oversight by Congress. You know, these czars and a lot of the regulation, they're going around the usual legal processes that are in place to protect us and to provide accountability in the checks and balances system, part of our federalism, system of federalism. And they're trying to get around that as if it's an inconvenience. Well, I got news for you. The Constitution is supposed to be inconvenient for government. It's supposed to be inconvenient. That's the point of the Bill of Rights, for instance. Constitution gives us a structure for government and then imposes hurdles on government before it can act. One of those is particularly relevant to my second month in office. Bob Marshall was here earlier. I'm sure he mentioned the Healthcare Freedom Act. Acts, several delegates and senators put these in. They passed on a bipartisan basis in Virginia. By the final vote in the House of Delegates, it was 90-3. 90-3. And those bills said that you cannot be ordered by the government to purchase health insurance. It seems strange that we have to pass a law to protect you from that, to protect your ability to do nothing. I mean, I'm good at that. Watch. See? It's easy. But the federal government wants to regulate that. How do you regulate nothing? You compel people to do something. And in this case, the federal health care bill passed, and in it is contained an individual mandate that orders you and other American citizens and Virginians that you must purchase health insurance. Not just any health insurance, government-approved Nancy Pelosi's imprimatur health insurance.